few hours ago, I was supposed to be awake, watching one of the most dangerous macro events we've had in weeks. Instead, I slept straight through it, with over $15,000 of leverage long trades open. And if Trump's speech had gone the way the rumours said it would, this video wouldn't be about why crypto is fine. It would have been about how I got stopped out, or worse, liquidated while I was asleep. But here's the twist. The speech turned out to be one of the best outcomes crypto could have absolutely hoped for. And once you understand why, you'll also understand why the market dipped before the speech, not after it. Let's rewind for a moment, because heading into Trump's speech, the market was already on edge. Crypto pulled back, risk assets dipped, and sentiment shifted fast. And it wasn't because of new data. It wasn't inflation numbers. It wasn't interest rates. It was rumors. For hours before the speech, social media was full of speculation, and not the good kind. Talk with war with Venezuela, talk of escalation in Ukraine, talk of political instability and corruption, investigations, emergency moves, interest rates hikes in Japan. Markets hate one thing more than bad news, and that is uncertainty. So traders did what traders always do. They de-risk first and ask questions later. And that's why the dip happened before the speech, not after it. Because once the speech actually happened, it became very clear this was probably one of the best realistic outcomes crypto could have absolutely hoped for. Markets don't trade facts first, they trade expectations. And expectations going into this speech were ugly. We already had geopolitical tensions, fragile macro conditions, central banks under pressure, and record debt levels. Add to that an emergency speech from one of the most market moving political figures on the planet, and traders reduce exposure automatically. This wasn't panic. This was risk management. But once the speech began, the worst case scenario simply just didn't happen. People were genuinely worried about the immediate war escalation, sanctions, emergency economic measures, and destabilizing global headlines. Instead, what we got was a controlled tone. No shock announcements, no geopolitical escalation, and no anti-crypto rhetoric. And that difference is everything this morning. So now let's do the most important part of this video. Let's go through what Trump actually said point by point, and after each one, I'll explain why it's good for crypto. Trump opened by framing the US economy as stabilizing and improving and projecting confidence and resilience. Whether you agree politically or not is completely irrelevant. What you think politically about him makes absolutely no difference to this. Markets trade tone, not opinions. This was not emergency language. This was not panic language. This was not brace yourselves language. So, why is this good for crypto? Crypto doesn't need a perfect economy. It needs capital to stay in the system, confidence measuring risk, fear, and keep liquidity flowing instead of freezing. Crypto performs best when investors stay allocated. Risk appetite survives and liquidity remains available. This tone supports that environment. Despite all the rumors, no war with Venezuela, no escalation in Ukraine, no sanction bombshells, no emergency powers. All these rumors were flying around yesterday, and it was dumping the market hard. There was nothing, not even a hint of any of this. So why is this good for crypto? Because crypto hates sudden global shock events because they cause forced liquidations. But crypto thrives when tension exists, escalation is delayed, and markets can digest the information. Relief rallies are built on moments exactly like this. Trump also reiterated his America First language and tariffs. This wasn't new. Markets already expected this stance, but tariffs are inflationary by nature. So why is this good for crypto? Because inflation is crypto's strongest long-term tailwind. Tariffs increase costs, reduce efficiency, and push prices higher. When purchasing power starts to disappear, people look for hard assets. Bitcoin doesn't care about trade wars. It cares about supply, and its supply is fixed. The speech did, however, talk about public spending, support measures, and fiscal commitments. Spending without immediate offset means one thing: more money entering the system. So why is that good for crypto? More spending usually leads to more debt, more bond insurance, and more monetary accommodation. This is all good news for crypto because that results in asset inflation. Crypto thrives in this environment. This is not an ideology, this is maths. There are repeated hints, direct and indirect, towards lower rates, pressure on the Federal Reserve, and growth over restriction. Even subtle signals matter. But why is that good for crypto? Because lower rates mean cheaper leverage, higher risk appetite, and capital moving out of cash. Historically, rate cuts precede crypto expansions, and risk assets they start to outperform when real yields fall. This keeps the long-term bull thesis completely intact. The next is silence on crypto regulation. This part is massively underrated. There was no anti crypto rhetoric, no regulatory threats, and no hostile framing. Silence is not neutral. Silence is constructively bullish. So, why is this good for crypto? Because market prices risk. When crypto is attacked politically, risk premiums rise. When crypto is ignored, those premiums compress. Less perceived risk equals higher valuations. This speech reinforced something really important. Politics remains messy. Policy can change and nothing is guaranteed. So, why is this good for crypto again? Because crypto thrives as a hedge against political instability, institutional mistrust, and policy flip flopping all over the place. But I want to give you guys a reality check because I got lucky this morning. And I want to be honest with you. In the early hours of the morning, UK time, I had just over about $15,000 in leverage long trades open. Nothing reckless, but meaningful size. And because of the rumours, I did what I always tell you guys to do. I planned ahead. I set an alarm for 1:45 a.m. so I'd be awake 15 minutes before the speech, ready to react. The plan was simple. If we dumped, I'd be ready to add. If there was a real emergency, I'd be ready to reduce risk. And here's the truth. I slept straight through my alarm, completely missed it. Now, in this case, I was lucky because the news was neutral to bullish and the markets held. But let's be real here. This video could have easily been titled How I Got Stopped Out While I Was Asleep, or How I Got Liquidated Overnight, or How I Got Completely Wrecked in My Sleep. I'm sharing this because I'm human too. Mistakes happen. This morning, I didn't win because I was smarter. I won because I got lucky. And this is exactly why tonight matters, because in the early hours of tomorrow morning, when Japan interest rates hike is announced, this one isn't rumours. It's real, it's scheduled, and it moves global markets. Japan has been the last major economy running ultra loose monetary policy with low interest rates. The cheap yen has fueled global carry trades and risk assets for years, including crypto. So when Japan moves, the ripple effects are felt everywhere. And last night, I got lucky. But tonight, I'm not going to be relying on luck. I will be awake. I will be managing risk and I'll be ready to react because volatility is opportunity only if you're prepared. That's the difference between gambling and trading. This is also why the exchange that you use matters. During volatility, you need fast executions, deep liquidity, and a platform that doesn't go down. That's why I use Blowfin. It's been solid during high volatility events in the past, and that reliability matters when money is on the line. If you're trading spot or low leverage futures, having a dependable exchange is absolutely non-negotiable in my eyes. There's a link in the description of this video, and if you're using my link, you get access to the exclusive bonuses and trading incentives. No pressure, just worth you having a look if you think it's going to suit you. This speech didn't need to be bullish. It just needed to not be catastrophic, and that's exactly what we got. No war, no bans, no shock events. In this macro environment, that actually is bullish. It's almost like no news is bullish. Crypto doesn't reward perfection. It rewards preparation, patience, and honesty. I appreciate every single one of you for making it to the end of this video. I hope you all appreciate how lucky I was by sleeping through my alarm and not getting wrecked overnight. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit the hype button if you've got one on your screen. And remember this, the strength of a wolf is in the pack. And sometimes, just sometimes, the wolves get lucky.